Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Just 7 days till Santa comes. I'm super excited. Kids are super excited. We're all counting the days, and I hope you are enjoying this pre-Christmas festive season that is upon us, and also are looking forward to winding down a little bit over the week's our official last day of lots of conversations from all over the world is on this coming Wednesday. So this is our last UBS Live for this year, because obviously Monday is Christmas Day next week, and then of course it's New Year's Day the day after. So I thought, good morning, Kim. I thought today would be a great time to sit down and talk a little bit about routines for success, because something that I look to add into my life every year is a new strategy that's going to make me more effective, more efficient, more productive, and so on. But before we do all of that, I always come on a little bit earlier so I can share this live into a couple of groups that also are meant to be watching it, because this is meant to go through to the Ultimate Business Support group. So let me just do that on my computer here. Share in a group. Okay, so we'll just get that done, and then we're going to get started with our half an hour of power, as they say, for your weekly boost, and the things you guys are going to choose to do differently come next year, if anything, or will you add something brand new to it? All right, one more group. Okay, here we go. Paste. All right, now we're live across 3 different groups. All right, so I've got a list of things that I wrote down before I got on the call. I thought I always like to have a few things jotted down, so I'm not totally talking off the top of my head, which is my style anyway. But something that I learned a little while ago, there's been the old saying of, it takes 28 days to create a new habit, or 66 days. Everyone's got a number of days that it takes. And one thing that I learned from a mentor of mine, actually about 6 or 7 years ago when I was attending her training, was that she said that actually, to create a new neural pathway where something is as if you're brushing your teeth, because as we all know, we hopefully all brush our teeth regularly and daily and twice daily and all that sort of stuff, was that it actually takes 2 to 3 years or 1,000 times of repetition to build that new neural pathway where something is just like brushing your teeth, right? And so when I learned this, I took it on as truth, because I do believe it. Because if a few years ago, I'll give you this example, it is around teeth stuff. I didn't used to be a flosser. About 10 years ago, I never used to floss my teeth, right? Just never grew up with that habit. And when I went to the dentist, for checkups and all of that sort of stuff, because I've always in my life had a lot of dental work and fillings and all that sort of stuff. Good morning, Eddie. Good morning, everybody who's joined the call. So the dentist told me my gums were really loose, and if I didn't do something about it, that my teeth could fall out, right? That was enough to scare me. And you know what human beings are? We will either take action because of reward, punishment, or survival. And I believe this was the punishment side of things. And so when she said that, she goes, I really think you should start flossing every single day and make that part of your routine and all that kind of stuff. And, then we can check them again in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and all that. So then I scared the shit out of me. So I absolutely started flossing every single day. This was about 10 years ago. And in about 2 months, certainly at my exam again, she said, awesome, they're tight and they're all this sort of stuff. And to this day, because I was so scared never to go back to that place where I was in danger of, losing my teeth, I have flossed every single day and have not missed it. And being to dentists of late, they always say your teeth are in awesome condition, amazing. And so that's, but that took a little while, and it, laziness can set in. But when we're faced with punishment and survival, oftentimes we just change, right? But where we are looking for success, we're looking to change because of reward, right? Success brings certain perks and benefits, to having a better lifestyle, to be able to do more things, to have more choices, and all that kind of stuff. And right now, if you're comfy and cozy and you perhaps just have enough, or you're settling for what is happening around you, what you have, then perhaps you don't have enough punishment or survival kind of to trigger any changes. So a couple of years ago, I'll tell you another story. So I'm just going to tell you some stories around making some significant changes in my routines over the last over the last 7.5 years that I have in business, because I want to talk about that time. Because this is the time when I have grown the most, exponentially, if you like. Because up to that point, I was in that, not plateau, but I still was growing and living life, but it was nothing like the exponential growth that I experienced in the last 7.5 years. So I want to talk about the routines and for success that I have added into my life year after year, or 6 months after 6 months, because you cannot add all of this in that I'm going to talk about today overnight and decide January 1, I'm making a resolution, to change my life, and I'm going to do all of these things that told me. So it's not actually possible to create all of these changes immediately. So I've written down probably about 12 different routines that I have in my life, and also that I will be bringing in more into 2018. Well, there's only really one I'm going to be bringing in. So every year I look at bringing in one extra thing that I thought this would be a really good thing for me to do. It'll make me more focused. It will make me more productive, all that kind of stuff. But, I just never got around to doing it. So a couple of years ago, the second story I was going to share after my teeth story is, good morning, everybody. I can see lots of people joining. And by the way, if you have comments or you have your own little routines for success that you think take you to that next level, comment and share them, because I'd love to consider them, for another time, because there's so many different things that we could do. But what lately I've been reading that book, as some of you would know, the One Thing. And last night there was a little comment, like there was a section on productivity, like a chapter on productivity. And that's why I guess I was inspired to do this live this morning about productivity and routines for success, is because, the things I was reading throughout this book, they were confirming to me that I naturally have this, knack of doing the things as they're suggested in certain books. I actually do stuff and then I read it in a book and I go, oh, this is just a confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. So a couple of years ago, I had started traveling interstate and a lot more, out of the house and on planes and all that. So about 4 years ago, 3.5-4 years ago. And 2 years ago, I got to a point where it was exhausting. It was like, super tiring, going places, coming home, and I didn't really have any routine around how to keep my energy levels up, even though externally I would appear, of course, a bubble of energy, if that's the saying. I think it's a bubble of energy, and a lot of people can perceive me, she's just everywhere. She's always go right now. And so I decided that it was time to instill exercise in my life as a regular thing, right? And I don't know, many of you may recognize yourself in my own little patterns that I used to play out prior to that. But during the year, I would have 2 stints of doing exercise for, let's say, 4 to 8 weeks, I would say. And then I would have 6 months of not doing any. And then I would go, no, I really need to do exercise. So then I would have another couple of stints of, 4 to 8 weeks, and then I wouldn't do any, right? And decided to commit to a personal trainer. And I said, but now that I'm committing to this, I have to commit to 2 to 3 years, or, as I said before, 1,000 times of repetition, to make sure that exercise is like brushing my teeth. And I want to commit, I don't want to do it all or nothing. I'm going to commit to 4 times of exercise a week, and I'm going to do that consistently, and I'm going to stick it out for, the 2 to 3 years, and so that it becomes part of who I am, and it's just part of my routines. So sitting here today, I passed the 2-year mark, and I still have my same personal trainer that comes twice a week to my house. We do our session, and I do 2 other sessions by myself, and I have not missed a 4 times workout week at all across 2 years. Even if it's happened, the 4th time has happened on a Sunday night, right? But it's the last minute, I go, oh my God, I haven't done my 4th time. I better get up and just go do it. And I have done it. And even traveling overseas, being in all sorts of weird places where we end up throughout the year. After all, about 60 to 70 days, we are traveling for business out of the 365. We're somewhere interstate where there isn't my setup here that I have at home and all that sort of stuff. So I have to say that now I feel the routine of exercise has been embedded. Now, what's the outcome of that? Well, the outcome of that is I feel good. I feel more confident. I have more energy. I'm able to feel more focused and productive in my days. And I look great when I look in the mirror, and I like that, so that routine and that way of life is now normal for me. So what did I decide to do as of about 2.5 weeks ago? We all know about meditation. A lot of you that have that are on this call, meditate or teach it or whatever it is, yeah? And so I decided, I was at a Christmas party early December, and someone mentioned that there was this app called the One Giant Mind. And I thought, they said, there's this 12-day course, and then you can do a 30-day challenge and all that kind of stuff. And I said, all right, I think I've got everything else under control. So everything else is kind of habit. It's no more like I need to focus, I need to think that I got to do my exercise. No, it just gets done, right? Just like you're brushing your teeth. So I started doing the meditation course, and I completed the 12 days about 3 days ago, and I've started the 30-day challenge. And next year, I'm happy to announce that in the ultimate planner, into this one, in addition to, not in 2018, but in 2019, we're going to have that added in. But I'm going to add in, because these planners were really created for me, right? Like, I created them for me, and if you guys like them, you buy them, right? And I don't get tons of them because obviously it's not my core business. But at the bottom of each of the days, I had exercise, tick yes or no. Now I'm going to add in meditated, tick yes or no. So, but I've started doing an M at the top of my page here that has a little tick. And I would like to think I will meditate every single day. However, I say similar to exercise, I will commit to 4 times a week, so then I can block up the 2 together, because it's really good wind down to actually do it straight after the exercise, which is what I have found the last week that works really, really well. And after doing it now for 2.5 weeks, I have to say, definitely have noticed increase in energy and clarity, and more like being grounded and centered. So that's been a really good outcome so far. But in no way am I out of the woods. I have to mentally remember every single day that I've got to do this routine and build it into the structure of my day. And I'm not talking about here investing tons of time for all of these things. Just talk about going back to the exercise. I do 2 half-an-hour sessions in 10 sessions with my personal trainer, and I do 2 7-minute workouts on an app that I use on my phone. Like, literally, it's an hour and 14 minutes a week, and I feel amazing. And the meditation is 15 minutes. So when you block it up this morning, I did 22 minutes to get these 2 things accomplished. All right, so that was my second one. So next one is planning. A lot of times I have noticed that people just run around doing stuff, but I don't actually sit down to go, what's my outcome out of today? Why do I want this outcome? And then how do I go about doing it? So spending time for planning, and I've often told people that there are different times that you plan different things. So around September or October each year, I plan for the following year. I plan out the whole following year, September or October, the previous year. Every 6 months, I sit down and plan all my travel, not plan, but also action and book it. Like, for example, right now, all my flights are booked up until July. All the accommodation we need to stay at, everything that we are hosting events in is already booked and ready to go. So it's time for just execution. And I'll do the same around April for the next 6 months of the year. At on a Sunday evening or very first thing on a Monday morning, I sit down and look at my week and I plan out the whole week in advance. So when I'm actually sitting down to do stuff, I already know what I'm meant to be doing, not sort of going, what should I be doing today? And just having really random tasks. So I'm very big on chunking and blocking things into clusters of different activities. So, you know, after this call today, I'm going to look at all my emails after the weekend. I'll just spend half an hour, however long it takes me to get back to my emails. What I have started doing of late as well, because we now are an international business, and also Australia has like a 3-hour difference with Perth. You know, people, when they're up, you're not up, and vice versa. And in the night, a lot of you, I don't know where you keep your phones, but most of us probably have them somewhere charging on a bedside table. You know, I started getting like little, my phone's never on ring, by the way. My phone is always on just vibrate, or it has a little flashy thing that just starts going off. So I never actually have my phone on ring. And so in the middle of the night, I would hear a buzz or a flash or whatever, and it would distract my sleep. And sleep is so important as a routine, right? And a lot of us, you know, I have heard a lot of people, this is not a problem of mine. I never have had any issues with sleep. I can fall asleep at, you know, at a drop of a hat. You know, midday nap, I can have a midday nap. I go to bed every single night around the same time. Between say 10:30 and 11:30, and I get up about 7 to 8, right? So I always have my 8 hours of sleep. So that kind of thing has always been, you know, a strength of mine, if you like. And some of us will have strengths in different areas. Some of you guys already have the meditations muscle built up. Some of you, others might already have the exercise one. I've got sleep down pat. But what I started noticing is that my phone would buzz, and of course that would wake me up out of my sleep. And then I might find it really hard to go back to it. So I started doing, putting my phone onto airplane mode. Okay, so I go to sleep whenever that is, or I want to switch off for the day, you know, whether that's 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., I put my phone on airplane mode. And I don't put it back on until I've done my exercise, I've done my meditation, and I want to be, you know, focused on the day ahead. Because that way I know, you know, when I'm on and when I'm off, and that, you know, there's no one can get through airplane mode, as we know. So I started using that, and it's, you know, of course, it's just literally switching me off as if you're turning your phone up. Okay, so that's really important. I have here a timeout. Okay, so I have seen, and I have worked with, and I continue to work with a lot of entrepreneurs who don't actually take a block out any time out. One thing that actually, I'm going to read you a little a highlighted segment of that book that I was talking about before. Where's my Kindle? Okay, let me read it to you. I highlighted, actually it's on a highlighted thingy here that I was going to post it, and I'll post it on social media. Okay, here we go. So I'll just read this one sentence. So you block off, so clusters, you block off 3 clusters of time. You time block your time off. You time block your one thing. Your one thing is like the thing that you, like for us, it's ultimate for the author to working on it. And you time block your planning time, which we already talked about planning time. So I want to read the segment about blocking off, time block your time off. Extraordinarily successful people launch their year by taking time out to plan their time off. Why? They know they'll need it, and they know they'll be able to afford it. In truth, the most successful simply see themselves as working between vacations. On the other hand, the least successful don't deserve time off. Don't reserve time off because they don't think they'll deserve it or be able to afford it. By planning your time off in advance, you are in effect managing your work time around your downtime instead of the other way around. You're also letting everyone else know well in advance when you'll be out so they can plan accordingly. When you intend to be successful, you start by protecting time to recharge and reward yourself. Take time off, block out long weekends and long vacations, and then take them. You'll be more rested, more relaxed, and more productive afterward. Everything else rests. Everything needs rest to function better, and you're no different. So, and this made total sense to me because the first thing I do when I pull out my, hang on, let me check the computer. Oh my God, see my yearly planner there. The first thing I literally do when I pull it out, and what I've taught people when they come to my VIP planning days, is to literally put lines through, you know, whether it's you're going to have the full Easter break, you're going to have 6 or 7 days there. I mean, we're having two months off mid-May to mid-July next year. Right now, you know, we're moving into, you know, like a month and a half of time off. Like we've already been having a lot of time off right now because of all the decluttering we did at home and all that sort of stuff. But literally we've got 4 months blocked off. Now I'm not saying you can take 4 months if you're early on in your business right now, but you could perhaps take those long weekends. You can take 4 days or 5 days. Everyone can segment that time and find that time to actually take it off and recharge. Because as we know, if you're an entrepreneur, we are working and 4 times as hard as employed people because there's so many things that we need to take care of and think about, and our day does not stop at 5 p.m. It can be a 9 till 11 p.m. days sometimes, and sometimes maybe even longer. So it's really, really important that you block out time off, because time off is not going to make you feel, well, once you take it, you come back re-energized to keep going, to have the motivation, to have the passion to continue enjoying what you're doing. When you're tired, you cannot enjoy what you are doing or should be doing to bring the best customer service and experience within your business. All right, the next one is adding buffers. Okay, so one of my things and routines and habits has always been to always allow double the amount of time to get to places than the GPS says, all right, because there can be traffic, especially when you're going to places in peak hour. It's not true what the GPS says. Sometimes it's double the time. And I don't care if I arrive there half an hour, 40 minutes early. I can just catch up on some emails. I can catch up on a live stream that I didn't do on that I wanted to do. I can just catch up on tasks because after all, most of us are in this mobile world and our business is our device or our laptop. So I'll just open up my stuff and I'll work in the car for half an hour. But I know I'll be there early. I know I'll walk in early, 5-10 minutes, you know, ask if anyone needs help if it's at an event. Right? And always leave last, because I'm there to build relationships. I'm not there just to pitch myself and see what I can get out of going to an event. And that was one of my points around building habits and routines. Focus on relationships first. It says relationships first, right? So over the last 7.5 years, whenever I'm going somewhere, I'm just looking at meeting new friends, meeting new acquaintances, just hanging out with people. Whether business happens or not is not important, but a lot of the time when you do make friends and those friends find out what you do, they'll be curious, they'll ask more questions, and the business kind of happens really, really naturally. I trust that this is being valuable for you guys. Everyone's like intently listening. Usually a lot more people are like commenting and saying stuff. Which one have you liked so far? I'm curious to know. So relationships come first. Decluttering was another thing on my list, and as far as a routine goes, well, it is a daily thing. We should be picking up after ourselves every single day. I'll get up, I make my bed. I'll go around literally the whole house. My kids are still not big enough to make their own beds, although some of them are learning and you know, but I'll go around the whole house and I just do a 5 minute, you know, pick up people pick up stuff, just get the house in order, because I like everything to be set up so it's nice and clean, my mind is clean. And especially, hey Rita, especially when my surroundings are clear, I'm able to be more productive. And I know, because I'm working from home, right? My home is my, where my business is. This is my office, and I want everything to be in its place, because then I can just focus. There's nothing else distracting me. Create the least amount of distractions. What I loved in that book that I read last night as well is, what kind of productivity system are you running? And he said, like, most people will answer, oh, I use an electronic calendar, or I have my physical calendar, or I have this and that, like talking about different ways they plan. But no, what is your productivity system worth? Because are you running a $10,000 productivity system? Are you running a $20,000, a $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000? Are you running $1 million productivity system? Okay, and so then I looked at it, and then I thought about, well, yes, my system is $1 million system. Okay, must be working, right? So I must be doing some things right in my life. Okay, because just being myself and my husband and a virtual assistant running this whole thing is really, it must mean we are productive people, which I do believe, hand on heart, that we are. So decluttering is a big part of our life. We do the daily declutter. We're always like putting stuff away. If you're going to do something, just put it away. It doesn't take that much longer. We don't let things pile up, because the minute they pile up, the minute my head gets all cluttered, and I just get up and just keep going and keep going and keep going. On the weekend, we clustered some activities. Like I said, time blocking. We clustered some activities on Saturday for projects. We literally painted the whole deck. We painted the poolside retaining wall. We cleaned windows. I was up on the roof. I even cleaned the gutters, right? Like, I know you might think that's crazy, but sometimes some of those activities are actually very therapeutic for me, and I enjoy them. It's not like, oh, I should be paying someone else to do this. I was just there, and I like kind of go, okay, let's do it, and we just kind of did it. And at the end of the day, I felt a great sense of accomplishment, and that's just something that I like to do. It's not, to me, it's rewarding to see the final result and just, go outside and feel like everything's like brand new. So decluttering happens in our household daily, and with the kids daily as well. For them to go around and do get everything where it has a home. And then we do the big one twice a year. The biggest one just happened just late November. I did 8 days where I went through every inch of the house and threw out 3 cubic meters of stuff, and donated, of course, stuff that can be donated. And then the kids did the same thing. And middle of the year, when it's winter, when it's cold, when we're all home, whenever there's a long weekend, we'll do another one of those, like where we go through everything. It's just not as big as the one at the end of the year. And it just happens, just like we oil our deck every year, we oil our bamboo fence every year. Like, we've got these annual tasks, and then we just kind of block off that time, those 2 weeks in the year. Like, for us, it was end of November, start of December. We go, okay, so let's, get all of these tasks done. And that's how, and then we're fine. We can just focus on all the other things. Great tips, Nat. Love the idea of committing to a new habit for at least 2 to 3 years to ensure it becomes routine. It's a long-term view rather than just doing it on a whim. Yeah. So those of you that missed that, it takes 2 to 3 years or 1,000 times of repetition to build a new neural pathway, right? So 2 to 3 years, 1,000, that's a freaking long time. It's a really long time to build and instill that new routine for success. And the last one I had here is inbox zero. Inbox zero. So what does that mean? So in this world of information craze, and everyone hitting us up with, wanting our attention and, giving information, and especially us being coaches, we're doing the same thing. We're putting out a lot of value right now. I'm sharing information. You're spending your time hanging out with me. And it's really important for us to declutter not just our space, but also our devices. So my device decluttering happens usually early January, or when we're on our family road trip. I spend half an hour just deleting stuff that's built up in little folders or things like that on my computer, only if I feel like it. I don't do it if I don't want it. So, sometimes people go, oh, can't you just switch off and all that sort of stuff? I choose what I want to do when I want to do it. Basically, that's how things happen. The only stuff that must be done is, of course, if it's a scheduled event or retreat and all that kind of stuff, it's a scheduled appointment. But when I have time off, like right now, I'm choosing to do UBS Live. I'm not, it's because I have to. I've said I'm going to do it every single Monday. I mean, UBS Live is not a paid, delivery of me teaching you guys stuff. I can turn up, or I don't have to turn up. But 80 to 90% of the time, I will turn up because guess what? After 3 years that I've been doing these Monday morning, 9 a.m. coffee chats, they used to be called, and now UBS Live, it's now like part of my Monday routine. And that's another thing, if you're going to commit to something that's going to happen every week or every month and all that, stick it out. Even our UBS Inner Circle, which is like a monthly private paid webinar that Stuart hosts every now it's moving from Tuesdays to Mondays, but we've been running that for 4 or 5 years. It's just part of what we do all of the time. It's just natural and it just happens really naturally. So inbox zero, I encourage you to just, if you're one of those people that has 7,000 emails like at the bottom of your phone, notifications that you've got 7,000 emails, or the worst I've seen, it's 56,000 emails. How about you select all and just press delete? Because if someone needed you that desperately and you had missed it, you know what? They'll try contacting you again. So I encourage you to do that because it doesn't serve anybody. You're never going to go through those things. And I always work on the habit of only touch it once, okay? When I get an email or get a message or whatever, I touch it once. I decide, am I going to deal with this? Does it go in my pending kind of things? Or is it going in the bin? That's it. I'm touching it once. I keep moving on to the next thing. I'm not letting or coming back and wasting more of my time being distracted by these things. So inbox zero is a motto I live by every single day. I certainly every single day will check my emails. First thing in the morning, I'll deal with them, of course, clustering the time and not just willy-nilly answering every single moment of the day. Same thing with Facebook Messenger messages. That also has to be inbox zero. Like I just check through what I need to respond to, and I never feel like I'm being hammered by information, by people requesting my attention, by all of that sort of stuff. So I always feel like I've got full control over what comes into my world and what doesn't, and how I filter it back out or respond to people. But for those of you that know me, and maybe you can confirm this for everyone else that's watching, I'm the type of person that has never, ever not returned a phone call, not returned an email, not returned a Facebook Messenger message, unless for some reason I've seen it and it disappeared, it wasn't bolded. But I always say to people, if you ever don't hear back from me, there's something seriously wrong, or there's been a glitch where it hasn't come through. And it happens very, very rapidly because I just clean out stuff so I know that I just have nothing else left on my plate, at the end of each and every single day. So to create new routines for success, you guys, as I mentioned last week, turn your shoulds into musts. So if you should exercise, start saying I must exercise. If you should meditate, start saying you must meditate. So turn your shoulds into musts. I am turning the should meditate one into a must meditate one. So how many days in? About 16 days in that I've done it in a row now. Exercise is all part of that. So that's my routine that I'm going to develop over the next 2 years and make it like embedded into my being. At the end of the day, as we all know, we have the exact same 24 hours in the day. How do we use it? What kind of productivity system are you running? Is it a $10,000, $100,000, or $1 million productivity system? And if it's not, go and read some more books. I mean, I'm constantly reading. It's like, how can I tweak and find another point of distinction? And actually, I'll leave you with a question that I have typed up on my with my labeler onto my annual board that also I picked up. It's the focusing question from that book, The One Thing. So if I haven't mentioned that book enough, please go and get it and read it and all that sort of stuff. And a few of you did and have been telling me you love it. But the focusing question is the one that will get you to focus at the right things at the right time. And it goes like this. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? That's a good one. And next to it, I have got my 3 steps of how I plan and start doing stuff in my day. And that is to ask myself, to go through 3 steps. What's my outcome? Why do I want this? So what's the purpose of doing this activity? And then what's the map in terms of how do I map it out? So I've got those 2 couple of things always prompting me. And in case you're curious what this pink sheet of paper is, it's my thermometer that I made just last week. So I've created, so what I've done in my office after decluttering, I've put little mind prompters and visual aids to help me further myself in the journey or keep motivated and inspired. But that thermometer at the top says journey to 1,000 half-day tickets. It doesn't actually have a top, like it doesn't have like a level of, yes, we've reached the top. It actually goes up to 1,200, and then the roof, the lid of it is open because I don't want to put a limitation on it. I'm going for 1,000 half-day tickets sold. Why do I do that? That's my theme for 2018. Is to focus and sold. The one thing is to focus in selling 1,000 half-day event tickets. What does that mean? Well, after 2 years of tracking, measuring, investing significant amounts of money in Facebook advertising, I have done my conversion rates and all of that, and there is a pattern. There is a pattern. Sometimes, yes, you get an amazing 20, 30% conversion. Sometimes you get 0 or you get 5%. But on average, we're going at about 11% from our half-day event into our high-end program. And I really, really in 2018 want to hit and go surpass 100 authors for the year. This year, I think we finished that. We're still going, by the way. Dubai people are still coming through. So this year, oh no, that's the next year's planner. But this year, about over 80. And we sold about 695 half-day tickets. So I'm cranking it up. I'm taking it up to another notch. Not significantly. I'm not doubling it or all that, because even doing what we did this year was, full on. But certainly we want to hit that number because that reflects as to where we want to be. And all of the other things work out from that. So really we find out where is the core strategy that brings us the biggest results. You know how there's the 80-20 rule? Well, 80% of our business comes from our half-day event. And that's where we want to be able to sell those 1,000 tickets. So that's our theme. Last year, I'm already halfway through 2018 in my head, but 2017 was the theme was USA, obviously launching in the USA, and that happened successfully, and it was great trip and all that sort of stuff, and we're returning there next year. So is Dubai, and a lot of I guess the theme ended up being going international. So you have an amazing Christmas, everybody. Enjoy the time with your families. Do switch your phone off to airplane mode. I will be doing that. I will just check in and put it probably back on for a couple of hours a day to just go through stuff and go back to my inbox 0. But literally, it is now, like, this is our next week. I will see you next year. I might, if I feel like it, if I choose to, I'll do a live. Actually, I need to tell you guys now, there will be another live before next year. Stuart and I are doing our end of year webinar. Well, it's not going to be a webinar, it's going to be a live just like now, at 9 a.m. on Friday, the 29th of December. So pop that in if you want, Melbourne time, of course, 9 a.m. 29th of December. Every year for the last 6 years, we have come on the 20th or 29th of December for 1 hour. And we have looked at the year in review, what we said we were going to do at the exact same time last year. and what we are promising or intending, our intentions and goals for 2018. Now, we always deliver content, just like I teach and I talk about the stuff that I do and have done, but at the same time, I'm teaching strategies as I'm delivering the content. So it's not just about like, you know, what we've done and what we're going to do. It's a nice wrap up, but also we embed a lot of learning, and we'll give it a topic name, just like today's live was. So we're going to deliver that on the Friday 29th. We're going to have us both on the call, and it's really a lovely time to finish the year. And for us, it's going to become, again, a routine, an annual routine. For 6 years now, we have been doing our end of year webinar. Used to be on GoToWebinar. It's just going to be on live now. We'll share a screen. We'll have a PowerPoint happening, and I trust that some of you will join us that day. For now, go forth and keep planning. Enjoy your time with your families, and wish you much happiness, health, and festive cheer. And I hope Santa brings you everything that you have wished for. And I asked him yesterday, I met him yesterday at Doncaster when we took our photo, and every single one of us, 5 of us, told him what we wanted. And you know, and I gave him a big hug. So you know, I tell Santa every year what I want, including like you know, and it's not for me, it's not the materialistic things like the kids ask for the gifts, but ask him, and then I just trust and believe. All right, see you guys, have an awesome week. Bye.